Good morning. I hope you guys are having a great day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And I thought that today would be a good day for us to have a financial conversation, especially on this topic. This is a pretty interesting topic, a great learning tool, I think, for all of us who are interested in investing. It has to do with somebody that you probably know, named Oprah Winfrey, and it's interesting in terms of being a financial development that helps you to kind of understand, how this wealth thing works. As you guys know, I'm a big believer in Black people understanding wealth and us having economic conversations together that allow us to grow and figure out how this power thing works. Hey, Nakia Clark, good morning. How are you? Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. If you haven't subscribed to the theblackfinancialchannel.com, I encourage you to do that. It'll be the best move you ever made. I guarantee it. And so here's where we'll start. So today there's a big headline out there about Oprah Winfrey, and a lot of people knew that Oprah Winfrey was involved with a company called Weight Watchers. A lot of you know about Weight Watchers. Weight Watchers has been around for many decades. And basically, there's a little bit of trouble in paradise. Not so much that it's a red alert, but enough that it's probably got Oprah's attention. $58 million will get your attention. And so the development is that Oprah's investment with Weight Watchers, which started off looking pretty good in the beginning, it's having a little bit of trouble. There are a few bumps in the road, and so as of right now, a lot of people are sort of scrambling to try to figure out, what's really going on here. So let me go ahead and pull up. I'm going to pull up on my screen. If you want to see this, you can go to drboycetv.com if you actually want to see the screen share. But you don't actually have to be there. I can describe what's on the screen. Weight Watchers stock right now is about $19.66. Now, to put that into context, Oprah bought into the company when the stock price was much lower. The Weight Watchers move, the Weight Watchers investment has been, for the most part, a very strong economic move for her. She's made a ton of money on Weight Watchers stock to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars. But as you can see, there's a little bit of trouble in paradise. You can see here, this past month, it's hit as high as $32, but it's dropped to $28.64. And today, it says $29.57 on this chart, but actually right now the stock price is $19.66 after having another $9.91 decline just today alone. Now, if you go back 6 months, you can see that the stock was as high as $74, $75, and which makes, you see all this blood red here that shows basically that the price has been dropping. Now, if you go back a year, you can see the stock price was over $100 a share. So for a while, the investment looked really good for Oprah. Oprah was, I'm sure, she was dancing in her pajamas because of how much money that she'd made from the Weight Watchers investment, which was a perfect fit for her, given that Oprah spent so many years branding herself as a person that was relatable, because she had all these weight ups and downs, right? She talked about how her weight would, go up and go down, and people sort of watched this. They watched this in real time. If you remember back in the day, if you're old enough to remember Oprah in the 90s, or maybe even Oprah in the 80s, one of the things Oprah was known for was weight fluctuation. 1 minute she'd be fat, the next minute she'd be skinny, the next minute she'd be fat, the next minute she'd be running a marathon. And it was admirable, that she kept working on this. And what I'll tell you is that, generally speaking, a lot of people believe that some of this was linked to a drug issue that she had back in the day, that she actually confessed on her show. She actually admitted that she had a big issue with drugs, and that was one of those things that somebody was going to out her for it. But she outed herself, which I thought was a smart move, because it allowed her to kind of preempt the whole situation. And so anyway, Years later, Oprah decides to make an investment in Weight Watchers where she bought millions of shares. Maybe I want to say it's about 5 or 6 million shares, excuse me, for $6.79 per share, which is an absolute bargain considering what the stock has done since that time. It was a hell of a deal for Oprah. And just the fact that Oprah bought those shares, just her buying into the company stock probably led to a little bit of a boost in the stock price. In fact, I'm going to go back and I don't remember exactly what year Oprah bought the shares. I have to find that data and look it up. But you could probably look at this chart and kind of see that, right? Let's go back in this chart and look back to when the stock, oh, it was 2015. That's what it was. So if you look before 2015, Weight Watchers was having a problem. You can see here that the stock price was up, in the 20s. And then you saw this drop. If you look at the whole max chart for the whole history of Weight Watchers, you can see Weight Watchers has had ups and downs in the stock price, just like Oprah has had ups and downs in her weight. This is really interesting and kind of profound to me because this is very different from a company like, say, Amazon. Let me show you Amazon stock as a contrast. Amazon stock. So let me show you Amazon's history. Amazon ain't nothing but up happening with Amazon. It's all green. It's all good. You go back, if you were smart enough, if you have been smart enough back in the year 2000 to invest heavily, to invest all your extra lunch money, all your McDonald's and Popeye's chicken money and Nike Air Jordan money into Amazon stock, you would be a millionaire right now. You see right now, Amazon stock is, has been trading as high as $1,700 a share. It actually hit a peak of $2,000 a share. And you could have bought it back here for about, about $7, right? In the 90s. And it dropped to get to about $10 in 2001. And so that's a different story, right? So if you go back to Weight Watchers stock, you see kind of a different narrative, right? If you look at the history of Weight Watchers stock, you're seeing a stock that is red over the max of its lifetime. Red means that it has not made a profit. For like if you were just a person who just bought that stock and held it and would just say like, okay, I'm gonna let time go by and I'm just gonna make money from that, you wouldn't have actually made a profit from this. Now, mind you, just be clear, you still would have been better off investing in Weight Watchers stock than you would have been spending your money at, on fast food or new shoes. Because if you spent, let's say this $35 right here that could be used to buy a share of stock, and let's multiply by 100, let's say 100 shares, $3,500. There's almost nothing I can imagine that you would have spent $3,500 on back in 2001 where you'd have something to show for today, right? So even if a stock loses money, you're better off investing in a stock than you are investing in, say, a car, or investing in a new pair of shoes, or investing in, in going out to eat, or investing in going to the mall, or investing in going to the comedy club, or investing in going to see the new Black Panther movie, right? Those are experiences and those are fine, but that's not something where 8 years from now, you're going to have something to show for it. So let's just be clear about that. But with that said, though, you can see Weight Watchers has an interesting journey. Now, let me ask you guys real quick, if you're online anywhere, please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that right now. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you're on the Black Financial Channel, hit the thumbs up button. If you're on Dr. Boyce TV, hit the thumbs up button. We're on both. I'm live on both places right now. So that's why I'm looking a little schizophrenic. So Oprah bought the shares in 2015 for about $6.79 a share, which makes her brilliant. Let's just be clear. Oprah just got her butt kicked financially, but losing money that you made from an investment is a lot different from losing money that you got from a paycheck, right? Oprah losing $58 million out of the $400 million that she'd made from the investment means she walks away still with $350 million, which means that she made a smart business move by investing in Weight Watchers stock. But the problem is right now that a lot of times when you look at, how well you're doing financially, you compare yourself not to where you were before you made the investment. You compare yourself to where you would have been if things had kept going good. You compare yourself to where you would have been based on where the stock price has already gone. So the thing about Weight Watchers stock for Oprah that's probably upsetting her right now, I know I'd be upset if I were her, is that Weight Watchers stock is trading at $19 a share, when at one point it was trading for over $100 a share. So Oprah, you may say to her, hey, Oprah, look, you still made over $300 million. But Oprah's thinking, yeah, but I thought I was going to make $1 billion, right? She's thinking, I thought this was going to be my $1 billion move, and it's only a $300 million move. So I lost $700 million. So that's the interesting thing about financial psychology, which you guys know that's what I wrote my dissertation on when, in grad school, is that money is always relative. It's always something where you compare it to something else. And if you compare it to something big, then your money looks small. If you compare it to something small, then your money looks big, right? So that's just a psychological phenomenon. That's how things work. Now, by the way, how many of you in here are investors? How many of you are already investing in the stock market and making money moves? Raise your hand. Make a comment if you're investing. If you don't know how to invest yet, if you haven't started investing, I have an excellent, outstanding, award-winning, extraordinary stock market investing class that everybody loves. You can go take a look at it. You can get a discount on it right now, actually. It's at theblackstockmarketprogram.com. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. We teach it out of the Black Business School. We can get you started investing with $5 in 5 minutes at any income level, any education level, whatever it is that you're doing. Everybody should invest. Every Black person in America should be an investor. Let me make that clear right now. So here's the deal. So Oprah, who we're talking about right now. Thank you. Okay, I see a lot of investors in here. Kiki says, I just pulled out of Weight Watchers. Okay. Let's see. Shawuki says, digital assets actually. Okay. Michael says, damn, Oprah freebasing. I had no idea. Yeah, a lot of people didn't know. A lot of people didn't know about Oprah's little interesting little crack habit. I mean, I ain't dissing, but it's true. I mean, go Google it. I'm sure, but they might have wiped it off the internet. That's how serious they were, I think, about keeping this under wraps. But this was something. It was actually reported, I think, in Jet magazine. There's an old Jet magazine article where Oprah talks about it, and there's no shame in that game. There's no embarrassment in Oprah overcoming a drug addiction. I think, if anything, it's inspirational because it kind of shows that no matter who you are, no matter what you've gone through, no matter where you've been, no matter what life has dumped on top of you, no matter what mistakes you've made, you can always make a comeback. You can always get stronger. You can always be better. You can always take a stand against whatever it is that holds you back, whatever it is that you fear, whatever it is that's keeping you distracted, whatever it is that's slowing you down, whatever it is that's handicapped you to this point, whatever it is that's broken you down. You can always overcome that. You just got to get up every day, every morning, and commit yourself to punching the bully in the face. And if you remember back on the playground, the thing about bullies, anybody ever had a bully before? I know now, like, they act like having a bully is like the most traumatizing thing in the world. Well, when I was a little kid, everybody had to deal with a bully, right? Everybody did, right? And I had my bullies too. And I wish I'd known then what I know now. And what I know now about bullies is that the way you beat a bully is you do not keep giving the bully your lunch money. The way you beat a bully is you do not keep conceding to the bully, because bullies smell weakness. They smell weak people. They smell opportunity. If they know that you're the kid that will give them your lunch money every day without a problem, then they're going to see you as a cash cow, and they're going to keep coming to you for lunch money every single day. So what I learned is that the way you deal with a bully is you need to be ready to take a hit. You need to be ready to go. If you can't go through the pain, then you're not going to get the gain. If you can't go through the hell, then you're not going to get to the heaven. And going through the hell means that the way to deal with a bully is you got to walk up to that bully, look that bully in the eye, and just punch the shit out of that son of a bitch and knock his ass to the ground. Just one good punch. If that's all you got, you throw that one good punch, and you might end up taking 20 punches. You might take an L. You might be bleeding at the end of the day, but you're going to have your respect, and the bully's going to think twice before they come at you, because the bully knows that you're not an easy target anymore. Well, I think of life in the same way. Every day when I get up and I'm thinking about all the things that slow me down, all things that hold me back, all the limitations I have, all the things that scare me, all the things that worry me, all the things that make me feel like I'm less than, not worthy, not good enough, imperfect, screwed up, whatever it is, those are my bullies, right? Those are my bullies. So everybody's got these bullies. Everybody's got bullies. So for Oprah, her bully might have been her drug addiction. Well, I'm going to tell you about Oprah. What I love about Oprah, though, is that Oprah's a person who went and punched the bully in the face, right? When the guy tried to, that's what happened. The guy tried to extort her, and he tried to it was an ex-boyfriend who said, ha, 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 now that you've been, you know how it is. That's how it is when you're black and you become famous or successful. Next thing you know, all these little roachy Negroes from the past start popping up out of nowhere, trying to get a piece of your money, trying to throw you off, trying to say, oh, I knew that nigga when he wasn't shit, right? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Y'all know people. Tell me if you know what I'm talking about. Talk black to me, please. Vicky Dillard is in the house, so I'm gonna use her term. Talk black to me and tell me that you know what I'm talking about. People, those little know-nothing, weak-ass Negro naysayers from your past who want to disrupt everything good that you got going on. Well, Oprah had that same kind of thing. And in her case, it was an ex-boyfriend who said, oh, well, you on TV now. You think you all that. You think you better than everybody else. Well, guess what? I'm going to tell them about your drug addiction. So the guy tried to extort her or blackmail her or whatever you want to call it. And Oprah confronted the issue. Oprah punched the bully in the face. Oprah went on her show, and in front of a nationally televised audience, she announced to everybody that she had a drug problem. And I think she even admitted, if I'm not mistaken, I think she even admitted using drugs before going on the show. And that was incredibly brave. And it was incredibly embarrassing. I can imagine how hard it was to do. In fact, she said it right before she said it, she said, this is the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. But Oprah was confronting the bully, right? The bully being the ex-boyfriend. The bully being her fears of what people are going to think about her, right? The bully being the addiction itself, which may or may not have been in her past at that time, but she confronted the bully. And I admire that so much. And I can tell you, if you want to know why Oprah's successful, what I believe that why Oprah is successful is because Oprah has always confronted the bully. And that's what you got to do in your life. If you want to win, you got to confront the bully. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes the bully comes back and kicks you in your ass. There were times where I stood up to the bully and I said, okay, we're going to fight it out. And I would go in ready to die, ready to do whatever's necessary. And I would hit the bully as hard as I could. And I would take an ass whooping that was almost like out of this world, an interplanetary ass whooping, that would literally leave me on the ground bleeding. But there was something liberating about knowing that I'd confronted the bully, and I would notice that there would be a shift the next day in terms of how I felt about myself, in terms of how my friends saw me, in terms of how the bully saw me. And in fact, in many cases, the bully the next day will be trying to be my friend. So what I'm just trying to tell you is that, and I know this is a little bit of a tangent, but I just thought about this because I was thinking about Oprah and bullies, and you know me, I just go wherever my brain takes me. But at the end of the day, you gotta fight your bullies. You keep bowing to the bully's going to keep you incarcerated. The bully's going to have you in prison, and you're going to be a prison inmate in this cell called your life. Your life will be a prison for you, and you'll never get a chance to experience your greatness or your opportunities or whatever, because you're always going to be afraid. So anyway, let's go back to Oprah. Hit the thumbs up button, please. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please hit that thumbs up button. We're talking on Dr. Boyce TV and theblackfinancialchannel.com. I want to say what's up to everybody on Instagram. Also, Instagram is the real Boyce Watkins if you want to follow me on IG. So we're talking about Oprah's recent plummet in her investment in Weight Watchers. Oprah lost a ton of money. She lost a fortune today. This morning. That's the funny thing about stock investing, right? It ain't like working a job where you get this steady paycheck and it's the same amount, the same low, crappy amount of money every single week, but it's consistent. Stock investing is literally financial schizophrenia. It's like I'll look at my portfolio one day, I'm like, woo, I made $5,000 in an hour. And then the next one, I'm like, damn, I lost $5,000 in an hour, right? It goes up and down, up and down. And what happens is long term, the reason that people stomach it and the reason people are okay with that is because the upward trend, if you invest the right way, if you invest consistently, then you see a long-term upward trend. And that's why if you want to know where rich people get rich, where rich people get their money, they get it because they are consistent investors in the stock market. And I'm not just talking about people that are born rich, that start off rich. I'm talking about people that start off poor. I'm talking about working class people who just chop off a little piece of that paycheck every week, put it in the stock, in the stock market, and buy new stocks every month or whatever. And next thing you know, they've got this big pile of assets, this big pile of money that's just growing over time. And it becomes beautiful after a while because it's almost like owning a home where you're making money just because you own something. That's the best feeling in the world, when you're making money in a way that doesn't have to come from labor. Right? So anyway, in fact, making money with labor is like riding a bike where in order to move forward, you got to pedal. So you're like, oh, imagine being on a bike with flat tires where every time you want to move an inch, you got to pedal, right? But then imagine being on a bike that has a motor, right? Then you pedal maybe one time and you're going down the road, right? Or imagine being on a bike that's going down a hill where the tires are full, where you can pedal really hard and then you got your momentum and the hill carries you, right? That's the difference between being an investor and just making your money through labor. So everybody in here, if you haven't started investing, please, please, please start investing. Go look online. I've got a book on Amazon on the $5 a day investment plan. You can go check that book out if you want to. It explains how your family can become incredibly wealthy in a generation by you committing to $5 a day of stock investing. Doesn't matter which stocks you buy, at least based on history. It doesn't matter which stocks you can mix it up, mix and match, as long as you diversify. The number one rule of investing is to not put all your eggs in one basket. So anyway, and the book explains all of that. So you can go look at it on Amazon. You can find it there. Also, of course, you have theblackstockmarketprogram.com, which is my stock market investing class in the Black Business School. It's up to you to decide how you want to get it done. Just do it. Get your family involved. Get your family thinking like investors. Don't have your family all thinking like workers. So Oprah, when she bought her shares, her initial investment wasn't that much. It was about $43.5 million. I think now her current investment, I think she owns about 5 million shares. There's trading at $20 a share. So maybe she owns more. She's got to own more than that. But I think that she owns more than 5 million shares then, because 5 million times 20 is $100 million. And I believe Oprah's stake in Weight Watchers is more than $100 million. Now, when I look at the market cap of the company, the total market capitalization of Weight Watchers is about $1.33 billion. And Oprah is known right now. I believe Oprah owns about 5% of 8%. I'm sorry, 8% of the company. So 10% of 1.33 billion is about 133 million. So yeah, about 100 million. So maybe that is right. Maybe that is the right number. But I do know also that Oprah sold off a big chunk of her shares. So at the time where she bought the shares for $6.79 a share, she bought 10% of the company. That 10% has dropped to 8%. After Oprah, if I'm not mistaken, let me look up this. I can't remember exactly what it was that she did. I know she gave a bunch of her shares to charity, stuff like that. Oprah actually does a lot of extreme charity work, which I think is great. In fact, she is one of those people, if I'm not mistaken, one of those billionaires that's agreed to give away, I think, over 90% of their wealth when they die. Do I understand why she's doing that? I don't quite understand it. I personally would like for her, if she's going to give all her money away, I would love for Oprah to give all her money to the Black community for the development of Black-owned businesses in America and around the world. But of course, Oprah and I are not in alignment in terms of ideology, and who knows, maybe that's why she's so rich, because she hangs out with more white people than I do. But either way, though, Oprah, she had 10%, it dropped to 8%. She bought the shares for $6.79. The share price is now almost $20 a share, which I think is great. Today, the share price took a major hit. It dropped about 36% this morning, 36% in one day. And now the thing about stock drops and stock declines, because you guys know I've been teaching stock market investing to college students for 25 years. So let me break some of this down for you real quick and real simple. Typically, stock prices move based on information. It could literally be the words of the CEO. Like the CEO can say, "Oh, I don't really think this is a great company to be invested in. I'm going to sell some of my shares," and that will cause the stock price to plummet. That's why the Securities and Exchange Commission works extremely hard to regulate what CEOs say publicly. Like Elon Musk, for example, is fighting with the SEC right now because Elon Musk likes to tweet. And when Elon Musk tweets, sometimes he'll tweet something like, Tesla produced 500,000 cars this quarter or whatever. And the SEC jumped in his face and said, "You can't do that because that's not true. You didn't actually produce 500,000 cars and you're tweeting information that is not accurate," right? And the reason that's important is because that'll move the stock price. The rapper 50 Cent got in trouble with the Securities and Exchange Commission because what 50 Cent used to do, or at least he was accused of doing, is he would go and buy and put a whole lot of money into some unknown penny stock, right? Where he'd buy some penny stock, for a penny or 2 pennies or something, right? And then he would go to Instagram and he would say to everybody that followed him on Instagram, his 10 jillion followers, he'd say, "I just bought this great stock in this great company. Everybody should buy it," right? So then everybody goes, because I guess apparently people feel that they should get their financial advice from 50 Cent, and they would all go buy this penny stock, right? And so when everybody's trying to buy the stock, well, what happens? Well, the price goes up and up and up, right? So 50's happy. 50's like, "Wow, I'm making all this money." Now his, $100,000 investment is worth 2.5 million. And then what 50 was accused of doing. I'm not saying he did it or didn't do it. I'm just saying it. He would do what they call, Roy Carter has it right, a pump and dump. pump and dump, which is where you pump it up and then you dump and you sell your shares and you leave the suckers holding the bag. All the people that were following 50's financial advice end up being screwed because they're still holding the stock after he sold it right back to them, right? And so that's what he was accused of. Is that what he does? Is that what he was trying to do? I'm not going to say that one way or the other, but that's what he's accused of doing. But there are other ways that people do very subtle pump and dumps, but it's not quite to the point of being illegal, right? It might be immoral or it might be opportunist, but it might not be illegal. Like, let me give you an example. Donald Trump in the 80s, before Donald Trump was known for being, the presidential asshole that people see him as right now, he was known as an avid investor. He was known as being a guy that was able to make a lot of money in real estate. Donald Trump, despite what they're saying on TV, was actually a decent businessman. He wrote books about it and people read his books, including me. I read his book, The Art of the Deal. Donald Trump was not a complete business idiot. Anybody who's trying to tell you that, I don't agree with that. There's a reason why his children all made $70-80 million last year. That I'm not saying that means he's on the up and up. I'm not saying that makes him brilliant. What I'm trying to say is that I would like for you all to figure out how you can get your children $70 million a year in the next generation, or your grandchildren, or whatever it is. There's something to be learned from that. So don't fall for the hype and all the politics. Politics is very divisive. All the Republicans think Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama are the Antichrist, and all the Democrats think Donald Trump is a horrible businessman who never made any money, which is absolute bullshit. That's just not true. Anybody who analyzes him financially can go back to the 80s and the 70s when this guy was in his 20s and 30s, cranking out, making $100 million a year, stuff like that. Okay. So anyway, one of the things that Trump used to do, where he actually made a lot of money really, really fast, was he would do kind of what some consider to be a pump and dump. He would go and he would start acquiring shares of a company. He wouldn't even talk. He wouldn't even say anything in the media. He would just start acquiring shares, just right? Now, back in the 80s, this was the time of where they had what they call hostile takeovers. Hostile takeovers were when people could come in and just buy your company and don't even got to ask your permission. You ain't got to sell to them. You might say, hey, we're buying your company. And you say, well, my company's not for sale. They say, we don't care. Your shares are publicly traded. We can buy your shares. Anybody can buy your shares. We're buying your company, right? So there would be this big fight, this big battle. And it was kind of a big thing in the 80s. And then they started to regulate it. So it kind of toned down. But back during this era, in the whole hostile takeover era, Donald Trump was one of the kings in New York. He was one of the guys that would come in and like King Kong, just come in and start buying up companies. So what would happen is he'd start buying up all these shares, right? And so people would be watching his trades, right? So he wouldn't necessarily talk as much with his mouth as he did with his actions. He knew that when he started buying shares, it would create rumors and people would start talking like, well, Donald Trump is starting to buy shares and he must know something that we don't know. So everybody, just like the people on Instagram that follow 50 Cent, there were people that will read the Wall Street Journal or on Wall Street who would follow Donald Trump, right? So Donald Trump was kind of the 50 Cent for white people. 50 Cent is the Donald Trump of black people, right? Maybe, I don't know, who knows, however you want to look at it. So he would start buying up all these shares. They would say, oh, well, Trump is buying all these shares, so he must know something. So what would happen is everybody else would say, oh, I want to get in. I want to get in. So they start buying the same company because they're thinking Trump either knows something about the company that they don't know, or that Trump is going to do a hostile takeover, right? Which would automatically inflate the value for the same reasons that Oprah's presence might inflate the value of Weight Watchers, because these are big name people. These are larger than life kinds of brands. Their names, the name Oprah Winfrey is a brand. The name Donald Trump is a brand, whether we like it or not, right? So he would come in and they would think that he's going to buy the company, so they would start doing what he does. So what happens? All these people want the stock price goes up, up, up. Next thing you know, Trump, he bought his shares for $20 a piece on average. Then the price is now $40. Well, guess what Trump does? He comes in and he sells. He backs out. He literally creates an illusion, and people buy into that illusion. And so one of the most fascinating things about financial psychology is that much of what you see in the economic system, it's real and it's not, right? It's not real in the sense that it is partly an illusion that somebody created, but the illusion becomes real because people have real actions in response to the illusion, right? So it's like the Academy Awards. Remember I was telling you guys, I don't think Oscars mean anything. Oscars are stupid. They're kind of these made up constructs, these made up fabrications that somebody created just so they wouldn't have to pay the actors more money, right? Remember, you guys saw me rant about that a couple of days ago. Well, you know, the Oscars aren't real, right? But they are real. Like, you win an Oscar, you know, you're going to get more acting roles. You're going to make more money from that, right? You win an Oscar, it's real in the sense that you feel better about yourself. You have real psychological benefits of knowing that I'm an Oscar winner. Look at me, mom, I'm successful now, right? Your friends now respect you more because you won an Oscar, right? So you have very real results from something that was an illusion from the beginning, right? So a lot of what you might see with stock price movements is a bit of an illusion. And the thing about an illusion is it's like a bubble. It can be burst at any second. Somebody pops a needle in it, poof. Like Bill Cosby being America's dad, America's perfect favorite dad, was a little bit of an illusion, right? Whether you think Cosby's guilty or not, we know at the very least, Cosby was not an innocent man all the time. He was not always, I mean, at the very least, he was out here cheating on his wife like crazy, right? But it was not something you'd expect from America's dad, right? Because Cosby's the kind of guy that would get on TV and be like, hey, you know, you shouldn't be cheating on your wife, right? He'd be wagging his finger and scolding people. Like, seriously, like, think about how the old Bill Cosby would have responded to somebody accused of committing adultery. He'd probably tell you that you're going to hell and you're a bad person and all this stuff, right? When really, you know, his private life was a lot different from that. He's hanging out in the Playboy Mansion and all kinds of stuff, right? You know, and so what happened was when that illusion burst, then Bill Cosby's stock plummeted. That's when his value, his social capital plummeted. That's when his economic value plummeted. Bill Cosby went from making, you know, $250 million a year to making less money than, you know, than some Burger King employees, I imagine, right? If you throw in all the lawyers' fees and everything, he's probably losing money every year. He's losing his wealth every year, as opposed to actually gaining that wealth. So a stock is kind of the same way. So the Weight Watchers stock, if you look at the way the Weight Watchers stock moved, and why Oprah Winfrey lost that 58 million, it's because somebody bust that bubble. Right? Who bust the bubble? Well, let's dig in. Actually, as we move in to answer that question, please hit the thumbs up button. If you're on YouTube right now, please hit the thumbs up button. Also, if you want to get text alerts when I go live, do this right now. Just text my name, just type Boyce and text that to the number 31996. 31996. Just type in Boyce, text it to 31996, and you'll get an alert when I go live. Text Boyce to 31996. Also, if you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, you can go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. So the CEO, now where did the bubble burst for Weight Watchers? Why did Oprah lose $58 million today? That's a lot of money. I'm sure Oprah's upset about that. Well, you can look no further than Mindy Grossman. Mindy Grossman is the current CEO of Weight Watchers. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Mindy Grossman. Let me find a picture of Mindy. I maybe find a picture of Mindy with Oprah, so that you can see them together. And because Oprah, you know, she has all of her favorite white people, and Mindy is one of the people that she loves and partners with. And I'm kidding, I'm not making fun of Oprah, but I am. I guess I really am. So I probably shouldn't apologize. But there's Mindy, right, with Oprah, and Oprah and Mindy are buddies because Mindy is the person that Oprah and the board believe that, you know, can make her money. Now, Mindy would not be the CEO, most likely, of Weight Watchers if it wasn't for Oprah. If Oprah wanted her removed, she could probably get rid of her pretty quickly. Here's another picture of Mindy looking really smart. And there's another picture of her, I guess, talking and explaining the company. And this is another picture of her looking, I guess, like a dynamic CEO. But let me tell you, the thing about Mindy Grossman is that, number one, I believe Mindy Grossman is going to lose her job. You know, so here's what Mindy announced, right? Mindy kind of bust the bubble by doing what CEOs are supposed to do. She was being honest and talking about, you know, what happened with the company. Usually when a company loses money or when they're not making as much money, the CEO is expected to explain to investors what happened. You know, that's why you want to be careful about taking outside investment money. Most of you, how many of you in here are business owners? How many of you in here are training your kids to be business owners? I hope everybody is. I hope that you make a comment and say, me, I own a business. I'm going to own a business, whatever it is. Because, you know, we need entrepreneurs in the community. We need as many entrepreneurs as possible to create jobs for Black people. White people are not going to do it. We have to do it ourselves. So if you are a business owner, one of the things I want you to understand is that you shouldn't always celebrate just because somebody gives you money for your business, right? Just because you have an investor doesn't mean you're better off. In the Black community, one thing that we do is we have these articles that go viral where there'll be some story about somebody who got, $5 million for their lemonade company, or so-and-so got $8 million for their new venture, right? And we're like, oh yeah, Black excellence, y'all. Yeah, woo woo. We're excited. But the thing is that a lot of times the devil's in the details. Every investor is not somebody that's going to make your company better. Every investor is not somebody that's going to liberate you as an entrepreneur. Some investors will incarcerate you. There are some investors where when they offer money to you, you need to pack up and run, because some investors are like gangsters. They will come in and they will want to buy up or give you a big chunk of money so they can control your company and reshape the direction of the company. That's why you have a lot of companies out here that don't take money from investors. The guys that with snap.com, one of the things that they said in the beginning is they said, we don't want to be another Facebook. Facebook sucks. Facebook's an evil company. They mistreat everyone. We don't want to be like that. So we'll go public. We'll let people invest, but we're going to only issue shares that do not allow the shareholders to vote. These are non-voting shares. Why would they do that? It gives them less money. The investors were like, yeah, well, I would have gave you $20 or $30 a share, but now I'm only going to give you 12 because I want to be able to have a say in the direction of the company. Well, the reason that they issued non-voting shares is because they don't want anybody disrupting the direction of the business. Chick-fil-A chooses to be a privately held company when they could easily go public and make an extra $20 billion. Why would you not want an extra $20 billion? Well, because if you go out and you issue a bunch of shares and you get that $20 billion, nobody gives you money without an exchange of power. Teach that to your teenage daughter. Don't nobody give you nothing for free. Teach that to your daughter. Don't nobody give you nothing for free. So when the baller comes around and says, hey girl, I'll buy you diamonds, I'll buy you pearls, I'll take you to Red Lobster and give you the cheddar biscuits, you better tell her to run, unless that's a boy that she really likes, because you got to understand, your daughter probably understands that when that boy comes bearing gifts, that he probably wants something in return at the end of that date. He's making an investment and he wants a return on his investment. That happened to me when I was 14 years old. There was this little girl named Ingrid that I worked with at Wendy's, and I thought Ingrid was so cute. And Valentine's Day came, and I didn't know what to give Ingrid for a Valentine's Day gift. So I was 14 now, which means I was pretty stupid at the time. So I just kind of grabbed something that was on my desk. It was this old Polaroid camera. It was this camera, like this crappy camera, but I was like, I could give her this camera. So I packaged the camera up and I gave Ingrid the camera at Wendy's as like a Valentine's Day gift, because it was the only thing I had to give away. I didn't have no money. And do you know, that night I got a call from Ingrid's dad. Ingrid's father called me and said, this is Ingrid's dad. I'm like, okay. And he's like, you gave her a camera today. And I was like, yeah, that was just, no, that wasn't a big deal. No, he's like, no, tomorrow Ingrid will be giving you your camera back, right? And that's what a good father does. A good father says, why is this little boy giving you this expensive gift if he don't want something in return? Now, I didn't want nothing. I wasn't even old enough to really know exactly what I was supposed to want. I just wanted her to like me, right? But still, that was very wise of Ingrid's dad to call me and say, she's giving your gift back, right? Well, the same thing's true when you start a company. When investors come along bearing gifts, some investors, you got to say, I'm going to give you your money back. I'm going to give you your capital back because your values don't mesh with my values. And so ultimately, with publicly traded companies, that's one of the gifts and the curses of being publicly traded. On one hand, you get all this extra money coming in. On the other hand, you've got all these people that now control your company and tell you which way to go. Like Steve Jobs was the founder of Apple, but Steve Jobs was kicked out of Apple. When Apple went public, they gave Steve Jobs a bucket full of money, but they then told him, we actually like your company, but we do not like you. So you need to get up out of here because we don't want you around. McDonald's was created by the McDonald's brothers. They came up with the speedy system to make hamburgers and French fry meals in 30 seconds as opposed to 30 minutes. That system is what created the McDonald's that you know today. But who's listed as the founder of McDonald's? Not the McDonald's brothers. Ray Kroc is listed as the founder of McDonald's. Why? Well, because Ray Kroc is the guy who came along and said, this is brilliant, this is amazing, I want to be an investor, I want to help you franchise. So he helped them franchise, and then he bought them out, and then he basically made himself into the founder of the company, right? So ultimately, having publicly traded funds isn't always the best thing for your company, because you are giving away power. So don't automatically cheer or celebrate every time you see a black person who suddenly got all these investors, because especially being black, when a bunch of white people come in and give you a bunch of money for your company, then that's going to probably shift the direction of your company quite a bit. So anyway, in fact, it might get to the point where it's not even a black-owned company anymore. So the share price dropped 36% today, after the Mindy Grossman, the CEO, makes the announcement that basically the fourth quarter of 2018 for Weight Watchers didn't go so well. First thing they did, which I just didn't like this at all, I thought this was insane. They changed the branding. They changed the name from Weight Watchers to WW. Now, tell me, can anybody guess what the first thing was that came to my mind when I saw WW? What's the first thing that you think about when you hear WW? Somebody guess. I'm going to say it, and then I'm going to look at your comment. Yes! Thank you, LaChez. Wrestling, yes! Yes! I was like, that sounds like WWF or WWE. Oh, Tamika said white women. That's pretty accurate too, right? Yeah, wrestling. I was like, WW? Like, is that supposed to be WWE, WWA, WWF? That's crazy to me. I mean, everybody knows the name Weight Watchers. WW? Are you serious? And then, and the reason Mindy Grossman gave for changing the name of the company that's been around, my God, I think Weight Watchers has been around for how many years? Let me see here. Let me Google this. Weight Watchers. Okay, it says WW Inc. I'm literally Googling. I'm looking. They had 18,000 employees. The company was founded 55 years ago. So you're taking a 55-year-old company and you're literally changing the name to something as vague and ridiculous as WW, which really does sound like you just sold your company to Vince McMahon and you're now doing wrestling shows for a living. Like, that's insane. I don't get that at all. It doesn't make any sense. But, Oprah went along with this. Oprah could have vetoed this. Oprah could have went into Mindy's office and said, do not change the name. Do not do that. Right. But, anyway, so apparently that's the official name of the company, WW, which I think is just, honestly, I think it's kind of dumb. The companies, they still made a profit now. The problem is not that they made a profit. The problem is that their profit is much lower than what it was before. So that's how stock prices move, right? It's not whether or not you make money. A lot of companies make money and watch their stock price plummet. Everything is based on expectations. So people expected Weight Watchers profit to be here. The profit was actually here, and people didn't say, well, but that's still great. We made a profit. No, they said you made less than what you were supposed to make. You didn't grow as much as you were supposed to grow. And so the company has announced that, to save Oprah's money, they're going to do a lot of pivoting. One of the mistakes that it looks like they made was they changed their name to WW because they wanted to be a little bit broader. They wanted to be everything to everybody, which is a very good way to go out of business. Don't ever start a business where you say that your target audience is everybody, because you're probably going to fail. You can't please everybody all the time. I learned that actually from Bill Cosby and his old crazy ass, right? Bill Cosby said, I don't know the secret to success. He said, but I do know that the secret to failure is trying to please everybody, trying to be everything to everybody. So basically, I think that Oprah's company, I think Weight Watchers made the mistake of abandoning their niche, which was weight loss, and trying to get into all areas of wellness and healthy eating and natural. So there was something that she made some sort of statement about it that was in some article that I read. And they literally, she literally said that, let me read the CEO statement. Hit the thumbs up button while I do that, please. Please hit the thumbs up button. Mindy Grossman said in a statement that the company has had a soft start to 2019 versus last year's strong performance, since its early year recruitment period did not go so well. So in the beginning of the year, Weight Watchers typically makes a ton of money because everybody's making New Year's resolutions that they're never going to keep, right? Now, just so you know, there are scientific methods on how to make sure you keep your New Year's resolution. Google Boyce Watkins and New Year's resolutions. I actually did a video at some point on the difference between people that actually make a resolution and stick with it versus people that make a resolution and abandon it, right? So it's a good video. Please feel free to check it out. Anyway, everybody makes these New Year's resolutions, and that's when Weight Watchers makes their money, because that's when everybody enrolls and everyone subscribes. Well, this year, the number of new subscribers was much lower than what it was last year. And the stock price is 82% off its 52-week high. It's actually been as high as $105 earlier this year. It's now down to about $19 and something. And here's what I think is going to happen. So Grossman made the announcement that Oprah is going to be more directly involved in its marketing. They're going to start putting Oprah in the ads, and Oprah herself is going to be hands-on and kind of elevate the company, which makes sense. That's kind of what she did with the Oprah Winfrey Network. She is she knows that she is a personal brand. So I can see Oprah saying, okay, I'm going to come to the meetings. I'm going to be in the ads. I'm going to use my brand. In fact, if you go look at the O magazine, anybody ever seen O magazine? Tell me if you've seen O magazine. Tell me what you notice about the cover of every single O magazine ever created. What is the common theme of O magazine that you see on every single cover that has ever been published in the history of this magazine? As you do this, I'm gonna Google O magazine covers, and I'm gonna show you. Okay, I'm gonna do a screen share. If you want to see the screen share, you can go to drboycetv.com. Yes, da-da! Look at that. Who is that on every damn cover of O magazine ever created? Look at that. It's Oprah in brown, Oprah in pink, Oprah with a perm, Oprah with a wig, Oprah with curly hair, Oprah with straight hair, Oprah in jeans, Oprah wearing green, Oprah wearing purple, Oprah in a skirt, Oprah in a pantsuit, Oprah with a hat, right? Every single cover of O magazine. Look at this. I mean, look at this. I'm sharing my screen. You guys can see this. Look at all these covers. Every cover has Oprah on it. And I remember thinking, my God, this woman is either, oh, wait, wow, she made an exception. Here's one with Obama on it. Okay, so she shared the cover with Obama. Which actually feeds into that whole rumor about her having this like flirtatious obsession with Obama, which kind of makes her like every other black woman on earth, I imagine. So it is what it is. It's fine. You know, he's president. I mean, if that ain't gonna get you some sexual attraction or attention, then I don't know what does. But anyway, Oprah has been on every single cover, pretty much almost every single cover, and that's because Oprah knows that Oprah's greatest asset is her face. Right, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing in the sense that it's easy, right? It's easy to apply that asset. You don't have to sign and get a release form to use the asset. You don't have to go and depend on somebody else to get access to the asset. Kind of like when Damon Dash, when I used to work a lot with Damon Dash, you know, he taught in the Black Business School for a while, and his program, Intelligent Boss Moves, is actually in there if you actually want to learn from him how he built Rockefeller Records, stuff like that. But one of the things Damon Dash talked a lot about in the Intelligent Boss Moves program was that, you know, it was very difficult when he was managing Jay-Z because Jay-Z was the big brand and he was the manager. So that means that if he needed Jay-Z's face or needed Jay-Z's brand or needed Jay-Z's image, it was always up to Jay. And sometimes they didn't see eye to eye, where he said, you know, I think I want to make myself the brand, because if I'm the brand, I can always activate the brand. Now, the risk, though, of you being the brand is that if somebody comes along and they tarnish the brand, then you can literally lose hundreds of millions of dollars, AKA Bill Cosby, AKA Tiger Woods, AKA R. Kelly, right? If you get tarnished in some horrible, horrible way, you're talking about losing hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars. And so what a lot of people do, like which Oprah does actually, is she diversifies. In the backdrop, she's still out there out front, but I would be willing to bet you that out of that $3 billion net worth Oprah has, she probably has at least $1 billion of that money invested in things that you'll never know about, things that are completely unrelated to her brand. And then that way, if there's ever some crazy scandal that Oprah likes to have sex with naked kittens on the weekend, or that Oprah, you know, that Oprah, you know, suffocated a baby when she was 19 or whatever, you know, whatever people want to say, like people want to attack you and whatever, she's still going to be okay. Oprah's going to be fine. She's still going to have money coming from different sources. And so what Oprah has probably done that was smart is probably different from what R. Kelly should have done, which R. Kelly did a bunch of dumb things. R. Kelly should have a lot more money than he has right now. R. Kelly should be diversified right now. If I had been R. Kelly's financial advisor in the 90s, I would have told him, I would have been like, look, man, number one, you know, if you are messing with these underage girls, I'm not going to represent you anymore. So, just understand that right now, because what you're doing is unethical. But in the event that you have something happening that I don't know about, that can get you in a lot of trouble later on, that can cause you problems, you probably want to take all this money that you're making, you know, when you're writing songs like Stepping in the Name of Love and Black Panties and all this freaky crap that you're putting on the record, take that money and diversify that money. Take that money and invest in other businesses so that you can have income streams that go beyond you getting on the stage and singing, because you're going to get old, which is going to make you less appealing to a lot of people, which is going to reduce your opportunities. People may get tired of hearing from you, and then you may end up being exposed and having all these crazy scandals ruining your reputation to the point where you can't do shows anymore. You can't do concerts. So in fact, R. Kelly is going to go bankrupt, I believe, because R. Kelly is 50-something years old, still having to do shows in order to make money. I believe that if R. Kelly was as smart as Oprah, and they're both out of Chicago, so we all get the Chicago swag. Big ups to everybody here that's from the Chi. We're smart people. And I'm gonna tell you, Oprah, was much wiser. R. Kelly could have had as much money as Oprah if R. Kelly had made decisions that were consistent with the decisions Oprah made. Yeah, R. Kelly's probably got some money, but he's hood rich. Hood rich is like where you got $100,000 hidden away at your baby mama's house, or you got 50 grand over at your boy's house that he done buried in the backyard for you so the feds don't get it. Oprah's got real money. She's got corporate money. Oprah's got legit money. And again, if you go back to the 90s and you said, who's more known and respected in the city of Chicago, Oprah or R. Kelly, it would be kind of close. It would be kind of close. I remember hearing stories about Antoine Walker, another guy who went broke, in the NBA. And he had graduated from the University of Kentucky, where we all went to school. And somebody told me, they say, he gets together with Michael Jordan, and they all go to R. Kelly's house and play basketball after the game or after the concert or whatever it is that they did that night, right? And so R. Kelly was hanging with the wealthiest of the wealthy. And the thing is that because people don't think in terms of economic intelligence as much in our community as we should, somebody who's really financially astute would have said, wait a minute, R. Kelly, look at you, bro. You're sitting next to 8 millionaires right now. You have 8 millionaires in your house with the pocket money, with the money that y'all put in stripper thongs. We could take that money and flip that into millions of dollars by positioning it in some of these Black businesses where people have great ideas, but they need an extra 10 grand in seed capital to get the business going. They'll give you half of the company for $25,000. You can go over here, you can buy these plots of land in the South Loop of Chicago near Cabrini Green projects where nobody wanted to live at the time. And in 20 years, white folks will gentrify that shit and it's going to be worth millions. You can do a lot of things with your money and it'll protect you long term. It'll protect you and your children. But unfortunately, that's not the conversation that happens in the Black community like it should. And so that's why you end up with these crazy, ridiculous situations where people end up destitute. In that one example I just gave you, R. Kelly, Antoine Walker, and Michael Jordan, 2 out of 3 of those Negroes are barely above broke. Antoine is clearly broke, because he's most famous now, not for what he did on the court. He's most famous now for blowing $110 million in his NBA career. That's what he's known for, right? And he ain't gonna get that money back because he's old and fat now and he can't hardly read. So ain't nobody gonna hire him to do anything that serious or that legit that's gonna help him make that level of money. He can probably make $250,000 a year or whatever, but he's probably got $10 million in debt. R. Kelly, goes to jail. His bail is $100,000, and there was a question as to whether or not he can make bail. Some chick shows up at the jail and bails him out. Nobody knows who the woman is. And so either she's crazy and she used her money, or he gave her money to hold or whatever. But either way, it's kind of strange that you have a career that's that long and you've been that successful, and it's that hard for you to get $100,000 for you to bail yourself out of jail. But then again, though, that's kind of what it is. So with R. Kelly, he's an extreme example, but we can't pretend like there aren't people that also think on that level. We can't pretend like there's not a reason that BET show Blew a Bag, which is a show about people losing millions of dollars. We can't say there's not a reason why that show does so well in the Black community. We can't say that there's not a reason why people don't think that's cool, that people don't think that spend it all and blow it all, blow a bag, spend all your money culture, that's not the most prominent culture in the community right now. So ultimately, I think that Oprah is a great person to kind of study, because people like Oprah, Nas, and others are kind of making these really intelligent money moves. But even deeper than that, I think that there are actually intellectual people and business people that should be studied just as much as we study the entertainers. Like A.G. Gaston. A.G. Gaston, my God, A.G. Gaston is the kind of Black man that every Black child should know about by the time he's 7 years old. No Black child in this country should go to the age of 7, 8, 9, or 10 without knowing about A.G. Gaston. Why? Well, because A.G. Gaston had a 10th grade education, but was worth $120 million in the 1940s and the 1950s. He's worth over $100 million at a time where Black people didn't have hardly any money circulating in the community like we should have had, right? A.G. Gaston was a millionaire in his early 20s in like 1918, right? How do you do that? How do you do that? How do you do what Marcus Garvey did and generate millions of dollars in capital from Black people, from righteous Black people, and you're not doing it by cozying up with white folks, right? These are the things that our children need to learn. These are the things our children need to study. Don't have them studying Diddy and Dr. Dre on how to get wealthy. Who cares? So what? They got lucky. They happen to get lucky enough to get record deals, and now they're living off of their brand value in the hip hop music industry. Everybody can't be a damn rapper. Everybody can't be a rapper. Everybody can't be a rapper. Everybody can't be a rapper. So that's it. That's it. I'm done. I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. If you want my final verdict, on the Weight Watchers stock, I'm gonna just tell you, I'm not giving investment advice. For legal reasons, I'm making this 100% clear. I'm not giving you investment advice right now, but I am gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I looked at Weight Watchers stock. I looked at the history of the stock. I looked at Oprah's involvement. I listened to the words of the CEO. I listened to what Oprah said. I bought Weight Watchers stock this morning. I bought a lot of shares because I believe that once Oprah gets in there and gets her hands dirty and starts making the company move, I think the stock price will go up again. That's what I believe, and that's what I did. I put my money where my mouth is. I did make an investment in Weight Watchers stock and also in Weight Watchers stock options. So that's just, so if you want that information, if you want to ask me that question, then there you go. There's your answer. All right. So Amira says, your women are here to lift you up. Well, I love you very much. And I want to say thank you very much to the women that lift us up, especially the queen that's right next to me, that's by my side. She lifts me up every single day. My mama lifts me up. I love the strong Black women in the community that are real. Dual Victory, you lift me up. Vicky Dillard, I see you in there every day. You lift me up. And brothers, I want you to take the time every time you think about it to thank a Black woman for lifting you up. We must show respect and the love that they deserve. And so, yes, I want to say thank you for lifting me up, and I want to say thank you for your strength. I also want to say thank you to the brothers that are looking for something different, that are looking to grow, looking to be strong, looking to represent real manhood in a world that wants to keep you as a little boy. I want to encourage you to just always know your power, always know your strength, educate your kids in the right way, get them off the grid, get them off the standard track, get them off the standard educational process, give them specialized education so they can be especially strong. We're not here to build people that are going to be integrated or diversified into or seen as equality or given access to equality or included. I'm looking to build super soldiers. That's what I want to build. So in the next generation, I believe that in our community, we can build a whole generation of Black economic super soldiers. And so I hope that you will make your children into super soldiers. Let me see, Black economic super soldiers. That almost sounds like blessed, but maybe it could be best, BESSED, Black economic super soldiers. So and that comes from early economic training, early economic conversations about empire building, not just job seeking. That's what I'm all about. That's what I believe in. And so I want to say also thank you to the brothers that have our back, that believe in us. You're not unseen. I see you every day, and you keep me going. And every ounce of fire that you hear coming out of my mouth right now comes from the fact that I know that you believe in what we're doing, and I know that we have each other's back. So, and if I ever come up short on any level, I want y'all to let me know so that I can step my game up. Because I know I'm not perfect, but I'm always doing my best for you. So that's it. I'm done. I'm going to stop talking. I'm out of here. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net. If you want to take a look at the stock market investing class that I have, you can take a look at theblackstockmarketprogram.com, THE, theblackstockmarketprogram.com. Make sure you get your certificate. Go through the videos and you can print out a certificate, which will be your degree from the Black Business School. We are building an educational institution that we want to have around for the next 400 years. We want it to be the Harvard for Black people. It's not an HBCU. It's better. And best of all, the programs cost you $3 or $4 a day. And we believe we have something. We believe we have an educational disruptor. And believe me, the other universities are nervous that we're offering high quality Black education at such a low cost. So feel free to just give it a try and take a look. That's theblackstockmarketprogram.com. So I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. I'll see you soon. Love you. Peace.